his mother into the withdrawing room, where the door at the far end was still open to the evening air, and the last light was shimmering on the leaves of the poplar trees. It was all so incredibly familiar. His father was there, standing with Jemima, and the man who must be her husband. Jemima came forward. She was familiar too, and yet she had changed in slight ways. Her hair was still the same, darker than his and curly like their father's. She was quite ordinarily dressed, slender in pale green, yet she looked lovely, with an inner happiness that gave her a special grace. He wondered if she would find him changed, and in what way. Still tall, of course, and slim, his auburn-tinged brown hair still unruly, and his face neither handsome nor plain. Automatically, he held his arms out, and she walked straight into them and hugged him hard. Then, as quickly, she stepped away and turned. "This is my husband, Patrick. Patrick, meet my brother Daniel." Patrick Flannery was tall, roughly the same height as Daniel, but there the likeness ended. His hair was black and his eyes very blue. His features were less regular than Daniel's and had not their sensitivity, but the humour and individuality in them made him attractive. "I've heard so much about you from Jemima. I'm happy to meet you at last." His voice had the softness of his Irish forebears clearly overlying his American accent. "Welcome to London," Daniel said quickly, taking Patrick's hand and grasping it. "Thank you," Patrick replied. "I thought New York was big, but this is enormous." He said it with a smile to rob it of any offence. "Lot of villages all run into each other," Daniel replied. "We'll have to show you around. Take a trip down the river, perhaps. Or up it." He glanced at Jemima to see if she approved of the idea. "I've got it planned," she said with a smile. "But there's 2 more people for you to meet before we have dinner." Sophie's sound asleep, and Cassie's half asleep, but she was determined to stay up to say hello to her Uncle Daniel. "Come with me." She held out her hand. Her face was shining with pleasure and pride and nervousness. "Excuse me," Daniel said to his parents, particularly his father, to whom he'd not even spoken, and followed Jemima obediently. Upstairs, Jemima showed Daniel baby Sophie in her cot, in Jemima and Patrick's room. The child was fast asleep, her soft downy hair dark against the pillow. Wordlessly they gazed at the baby, then smiled at each other and tiptoed across the corridor. In the nursery, the first room Daniel could ever remember as a tiny child, Jemima pointed to the bed. A very little girl had fallen asleep sitting up, and toppled sideways onto the pillows. She had dark hair, almost black, and soft, flawless skin. He would have guessed her to be 3, even if he hadn't known. Jemima kneeled down beside her and woke her gently before Daniel could tell her not to disturb the child. Slowly she sat up, then looked past her mother to stare at Daniel. She had not her father's blue eyes. Hers were soft grey like Jemima's, and like Thomas Pitt's. "Hello, Cassie," Daniel said, stepping forward. "I'm Daniel. It was very kind of you to stay up so I could meet you." He was not sure whether to hold out his hand. She blinked a couple of times. "It's all right," she replied. "We came all the way to see you, in a big ship." "How exciting," he said. "I've never been in a big ship." She smiled slowly and a little self-consciously, half turning away and moving an inch closer to her mother. "Please will you tell me about it one day?" Daniel asked. She nodded. "My daddy is a policeman." "That's funny. So's mine," he replied. She looked at Jemima again. "Is that your daddy too?" "Yes. We're all family. Your family," Jemima answered. Cassie sighed and gave a wide smile. "I think it's time you went to bed, young lady." Without waiting for argument, Jemima tucked her up and looked over Cassie's head at Daniel. "Tell Mama I shall be down in about 10 minutes. Don't wait dinner for me. And thank you." "She's gorgeous. They both are," he replied.